totally betraying the least principles of a civil society is that it is not appealable.
They call Dr. Naik a warmonger when history knows who is the warmonger.
It is they plan to ban me, and I have faith in my Creator Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, who will see to it that the more they try to suppress my voice, inshallah, more louder it will be.
And yet if you insist that no, our orders are divine orders, they cannot be looked into by any other human being or any other organization or authority, I'm afraid this is terrorism, an act of terrorism.
Are we going to become victims of these people who decide at the drop of the hat whom they're going to call terrorists and whom they're not going to call terrorists?
Contact the Islamic Research Foundation and Mr. Maqbul Barvelkar for any further details. Without coming any further in between you and the speakers on stage, I leave the floor open to Dr. Zakir Naik to make his comments. You are welcome, as soon as the comment is over, to put forward your questions. Dr. Zakir Naik.
Alhamdulillah. Wassalatu wassalam ala rasulillah wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajmain. Amma ba'd. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Wa qul ja'al haqq wa zaqal batil. Innal batila kana zahuqa. Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wa hlul 'uqdatam min lisani yafqahu qawli. The Honorable Human Rights Activist, Advocate Majid Memon, Mr. Mahesh Bhatt, the press, the media, the respected elders, and my brothers and sisters. I welcome all of you with the Islamic greetings. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. May peace, mercy, and blessings of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, of Almighty God, be on all of you. As you may be aware, that I was supposed to go for a series of lectures to UK, which is supposed to be held in the three most prestigious arenas on the 25th, 26th, and 27th of June in London and LG Arena, NEC Birmingham. Since there was a lot of publicity being done in UK, just a couple of weeks or a month before the event took place, on the 30th of May, there was a newspaper in UK by the name of Sunday Times, which published an article saying, "The preacher of hate let into Britain," talking about me. And in that article, they gave several references of my speeches, which were misquotes, or they were quoted out of context. And they projected me as a person, saying that I'm a person who says that every Muslim should be a terrorist, and other allegations, which in our press release on the 11th of June, we did clarify that all these allegations, these assumptions, they're quoted out of context, or they're misquotes. This led to a pressure on the newly elected government in UK, that is the Conservative Party. When it was earlier, and the opposition was very vehemently against, we should not allow speakers who speak wrong things. So there was a pressure on this government that they should exclude me from coming to UK. And we made a presentation to the Home Office clarifying and giving the context and saying in no way do I promote terrorism in any way, and I have condemned all acts of terrorism and killing of any innocent human being in the world, irrespective whether it be 9/11 in New York, whether it be 7/7 in London, 7/11 in Bombay. But yet instead of all this presentation, I think this decision to exclude me, according to me, was more of a political decision rather than a legal decision. Because they were newly elected, hardly 1.5 months in power. And because of political pressure from the various groups, the government decided to take the chance, knowing very well that we will be challenging this exclusion order. Yet they preferred taking a political decision for political mileage, that's what I believe. And they gave an exclusion order on 16th of June, because I was supposed to leave on 18th early morning, or rather 17th late night to UK, knowing that they gave an exclusion order on 16th, which was given to me by hand delivery on the 17th of June, just one day before my travel. We received a phone call from the Deputy High Commission in Bombay of UK, saying that there's a letter, there's exclusion order given to you, please come and collect the letter. And I sent my manager, and he collected the letter.
Mr. Mahesh Bhatt is a noted activist for so many years on any human rights violation and such cases. And when the whole society is on one side, he feels that someone is being unjust with him, even if that person is alone, he is standing out for justice. Mr. Mahesh Bhatt.
Well, at the onset, let me salute Dr. Zakir Naik for daring to lock horns with the mighty empire, the British Empire. And I'm glad that we have an Indian who's not timid and who's not going to take these insults that they're hurling at us day in and day out lying down. So I salute his audacity, which comes from his iman, from the truth which is there in every pore of his being. It is that makes him stand up and say things to the bully the way it is. If he had any grey spot in his heart, he wouldn't have risked locking horns with these bullies who have the means and the power to lock you in and throw away the keys. Human history has been a witness to unspeakable deeds of barbarism that have been unleashed by the Western nations against the world. Ladies and gentlemen, these are dangerous times. The world is becoming the most entertained and the least informed world. I thought the United States was the most entertained and the least informed. But slowly and surely, the world is catching up and India is not far behind. I think we as Indians owe it to our brother, who is our national pride, who is our prized treasure, that we ask those who accuse him to look at the facts sanely, and as Majid Bhai says, to err is human. Maybe an individual there has erred. We do not want to put the entire nation into the dock for the misdeeds of a handful of people. We cannot reduce human beings to stereotypes. We cannot reduce a nation or a community to a single story. Because when we do that, we do the same mistake what they have done. They call Dr. Naik a warmonger. Well, history knows who is the warmonger. The Western nations, the United States, backed with the United Kingdom, did not give a tinker's damn for the world opinion and bombarded Iraq when the UN was screaming that you don't have evidence that there are weapons of mass destruction. What happened thereafter? You killed people, shed blood, and what did you find there? No evidence to say that there was any weapons of mass destruction. So are you going to believe in the opinions of those people who have the means to lie, buy wordsmiths, get newspapers, have television networks on their side to market their lies and hang a man like Dr. Naik? I would say no. It is the same United States of America when it bombarded Afghanistan. They bombed Al Jazeera. Behind every such person who doesn't take the opinion which are dished out by governments to suit their politics. The first law of journalism, sir, is governments lie. And as responsible journalists, it's your duty to not become victims of state propaganda. The world has suffered enormously for the last 10 years because all responsible journalists, including you, lapped up what was dished out to you by them. If you do not have the means to question it, say, I don't know. It is more decorous for a man to say, I don't know. A person who knows that he does not know can be taught. There is humility. But a person who does not know and pretends that he knows can do enormous harm. So I think as responsible people of the media, it is your duty to your fellow human being, to your fellow Indian, who stands here with dignity, that he gets a fair deal. And it's not fitting for the nation and a government who stands up for a celebrity like Shah Rukh Khan when he has come into trouble in the United States, they must also stand up for Dr. Zakir Naik and plead his case. That's all I have to say. Thank you.